Well, welcome back, everyone. I would like to welcome our next speaker. Her name is Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin, and she has a plethora of degrees, including a speaker, author, actress, licensed clinical psychologist, counselor. She's an executive life coach and TV host and an entrepreneur. So welcome, Dr. Kim.
Oh, thank you, Dori. How are you this morning?
I am well. Thank you for your time this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Well, I would love for our audience to get a little understanding as far as what your background is and why you're so passionate about kids and parents.
Well, my background is in Christian family counseling, and I'm very passionate about that because I've seen the neglect. I've been in practice 40 years, and I've seen the neglect, and I've seen a lot of love, but I've seen the fragmentation of families being torn apart because of the division, incarceration, due to divorce, separation, abuse. And so, therefore, I wanted to be a conduit to be able to help families.
That is awesome. What a passion you have, and you're just far reaching. Your extent is far reaching. That's fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Dori.
Absolutely. So Kim, how can parents give their kids a voice, and why is that even important for them to do?
I think it's important for parents to allow their children to have a voice with respect, Dori, with respect, so that they will understand their emotional balance. If you don't speak to your children, and I'm not saying talk at them, but talk with them, you won't know what their inner emotions are producing because I never talk to my children. So I see them and I think they look okay, but you need to spend time really allowing them, sitting around the dining room table and say, how are you? How are you doing? How are you feeling? So that you will be able to stay in the loop with your children, emotional balance. Our children are also suffering, and we need to be in tune with them and not overlook them.
And do you think there's a difference between, you said, having a voice and being respectful versus non-respectful? So how do we curtail that without cutting them off completely?
Well, this is why we need to make sure we do something on a consistent basis. See, consistency brings about growth. And so I'm monitoring how you are communicating with me, like, okay, watch your tone. Be careful. Don't sit there like, but be open to me because I care about you. I'm your parent. But children have to be able to trust us so they'll be able to open up to us. So being able to do it with respect, but let me say this, Dory, parents must also respect their children. So they are their first teacher. So we're teaching them how to use verbal and nonverbal communication. So be careful what you're doing. So if you're using profanity in the household, they are learning those same skills. If you're teaching them to shut down and, go to your room, get out of my face, then that's how they're going to learn to communicate. So we want to be able to utilize our skills in a healthy and productive manner so that our children will learn these same healthy skills because social skills are so important. COVID devastated our children and our families because our children couldn't go to school and have classes and physical education and eat in the lunchroom. Those all develop our social skills. So now, mom and dad, these social skills that really be brought out through you.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because COVID amplified what might have already been going on, and it just made it that much louder for our kids.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure, Dory.
Yeah, and what you're saying too, Kim, you're saying that this communication needs to start early. So are you saying from like the get-go, from early on when they're just little toddlers?
Of course, even before that, when they're in the womb, we start talking to them. We have all those monitor devices. And, when my husband would come and talk to our babies inside my womb, do you know when my daughter was born, she heard his voice and she just did just like this because she knew his voice. And so we constantly would communicate with her and holding her, loving her. So it starts That 0 to 3 is very crucial in the development of character and personality. By the time they're 3, their personality has been engraved. And so you have a intricate part in this as parents to really structure how you want to see, and with God's help, how your children can develop in a proactive manner. We don't want negative behavior. We don't want our children to be stunted in their growth. We want them to have the necessary skills to be able to move forward in the 21st century.
So how do you do that as a parent? You give them a voice, but you still maintain and create boundaries. And why are boundaries even important at that point?
Boundaries are very important because they need to understand they can't communicate any way they want, because when they go out into the real world, they won't be able to stay in the classroom. They'll be expelled from school. We have boundaries in our schools, boundaries on our jobs, and they won't be able to maintain a job. A lot of people today cannot maintain social clarity or social diversity because they don't have boundaries. They never were taught boundaries. And so childhood trauma is now adult trauma. And so boundaries are crucial so that we will understand respectfully what your role is, what is my role. I'm the parent. So therefore, these are the do's and the don'ts. However, I want you to have a voice so that you'll understand why I'm trying to carve these things into your character so that you don't become incarcerated. You don't, do anything that's going to cost you your life, because we must be taught through boundaries how to make good choices. Decision making is crucial when we are formulating the minds of our children as they are developing all the way through. That is our responsibility as parents.
So how do you start to create those boundaries as little ones? Like how would be an easy way for a parent to start to do that?
Well, what I would do, and I can go from some of the things that we did, we developed boundaries and we had a rule guidebook in our home. And we wrote down 3 things that we really wanted to focus in on developing these boundaries with our children. We wrote the word yes, wait, and no. Now, there will be some times when I will be able to say yes to you as a parent. Yes, you can do this. Yes, you can touch that. Yes, you can have that snack. There'll be times, wait, we're getting ready to have dinner. We're going to do that after dinner. All right. But I want it now. No, you can't have it now. And so that temper tantrum begins. So you have to say again, consistency. No, mommy, daddy said no. Now the first time you give in because you don't want to hear the screaming, they got you. They got you. Manipulation steps in. And you have to stand still. Oh, Dr. Logan, he was crying and he was upset. I know, but we still have to set those boundaries. And number 3 is no. So with that, we were able to do what is called a paradigm shift. When something is not working within your household, do a paradigm shift. Find out, because every household is different. Find out what is going to be effective in your home versus, oh, look what they're doing. Or don't set your boundaries and your sense of well-being and mental health based on what you see on television. That is television. Those scripts are written out for television. You have to write out what's going to be effective in your home. Also, we did word games, and word games gave us the ability to challenge our children. So if I gave them the word, how are we going to communicate today effectively? All right, let's use the word effectively. Oh, mommy, I'm feeling very, very intricate today. Or you're feeling what? Wait, this word. I need, no, or she would say, I need, more details. I said, oh, okay. Or she would say affable. And I said, yeah, are you feeling affable today? I'm feeling very affable. So when we would be getting dressed in the morning, I would do songs like affable. We're going to sojourn. We're going to travel. We did word games to help set boundaries. and what we needed to do, even down to doing chores. We made them fun. We didn't make it where it's just, oh, drudgery. No, we wanted to make it fun. So when mommy was cleaning, I was singing, I had on music. And so therefore, they looked at it like, wow, this is fun. And we made it fun so that they would understand that these are responsibilities that need to be done to run the household. I'm not your maid, I'm your parent. You have roles, even at the age of 3. If you, and we had one rule too, if I saw your toys in the wrong place, and I have this motto, everything has its place, then that toy after the second time would go to a needy child at my church. So we set some real healthy boundaries so that you want that toy need to be put in its right place. And I had to do that with my husband. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? I said, honey, put them on the key rack. So we constantly, and my children be like, "Ooh, daddy didn't follow the boundary rules." So this helped us as a family to set things in order. And I wasn't perfect either, Dori, but I tried to run the house as smoothly as possible.
Kim, I love that. I think it's great that you made it fun. You made it something that they basically got rewarded for in a lot of different ways. You really gave your kids actual words to talk about how they were feeling or what they were experiencing, which is fantastic.
That's right. And that's very important that they would express themselves. And I would say, well, I'm affable today. Oh, mommy, you're so likable. And do you know those words are also part of the DORT reading program and the ACT and the SAT. So you pull these words to help them feel good about themselves. I gave them words like deprecate. She said, I feel bad, mommy. Really? You want to express your feelings? Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to draw pictures? So that's where art therapy came in. And so I would use art therapy to help them talk about, if you don't want to talk about it, can you draw a picture for me? Do you have tears today? Do you have a smile today? Do you want to just hide today? And then another thing we did was music therapy. So I would get on the piano and I would play. If you don't have a piano or instrument, sing. Just sing and get them to express themselves. Because when we were growing up, we had certain songs that made us feel good and some songs that didn't make us feel as good. So if we were going through, I would see couples going through a great relationship, they would play songs like, happy songs by the Spinners or Luther Vandross. But if they were going through something, they may play something like Frank Sinatra, or they may play something like the OJs. I don't know, but the bottom line was music makes us feel good or it can make us feel sad. That's why we have happy songs. We have happy songs that these individuals wrote through their own experiences.
You have so many pieces that you can offer to parents as far as how they can get their kids to just express themselves. What should parents really focus on as far as key things to help their kids express themselves?
I think that we need to be able to show compassion for our children. They're children. They haven't had our experiences. They don't understand the way we process. So we have to show compassion and patience with our children. Don't walk away. Don't slam doors. Don't yell and scream. Don't use profanity. They're children. Even as they become older, we have so many vocabulary words that could be used to express. I had a child that came to me and every other word was profanity. I said, well, where did you learn how to speak like that? She said, my parents, they talk like that to each other. They use it all the time. And so I was trying to help her to understand there are other healthier words to be able to express yourself. So I believe with correction takes compassion, takes patience. And we must have patience. I use 3 rules in my counseling and praying with my families. I use, be persistent with God for change. Be passionate with God. To just understand that He's there to listen to your woes, and He sees your tears, He sees your joys. And then with that comes patience. So with persistent passion and patience, when we go to God, it's the same thing I use with my children. I'm persistent. I called you 3 times today, even though they're adults, and I have passion when I talk with them, and then I'm very patient because they have their own lives and I have to be patient for them to get back with me. So, parents, to those who are listening today, be compassionate, be patient with your children as they're going through this timeline of life.
That's awesome. Great advice, Kim. Well, thank you so much. We're at the end of our time, but I am definitely going to bring you back and get some more answers for our parents.
All right. Thank you, Dori. It's been wonderful.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you, Kim.